It's me again. Welcome to Ham. Welcome to Ham Watches Things, tells you about the things, and then thinks about the things. It's the only show where Ham reviews. If you're having a bad day, buckle up, because the tone of this one will not make it any better. A 1989 made-for-TV movie, Trial of the Incredible Hulk, was another in a series of efforts to cash in on the then 7 years dead TV show. It was also an effort to launch a Daredevil TV series, much like a film with Thor, which both were unsuccessful. The film actually had high ratings, but no. Maybe NBC was done with the hero game. Maybe they were worried about running against CBS's The Flash airing in 1990. Also, the comic media landscape shifted with Batman in film. It really kind of scared everyone from doing cheap comic TV at the time. Flash tried, was not close. Although the tone of Daredevil may have done very well, he's super dark and kind of potentially Batman-ish. But Rex was 34 already at the time and about to play a full-time TV ninja. And lucky for them, they did not go down that path. By 91, they were all dead. The shows, not the actors. The movie. There's an introduction by Bill Bixby. Long story short, one too many x-rays, and he now becomes Green Lou Ferrigno in a Party City wig. He is the Hulk. Movie opens as sad and as pathetic as you would assume the life of an on-the-run, death-faking, giant green rage monster and an old white dude is. This poor, weak fella is tossed in a mud hole, and a green rage monster within him compels him to quit his ditch-digging job. The Incredible Hulk. So Blind Man gets hit in the face by a box in the closet. What kind of an introduction is that? Now, I know that that's Matt Murdock, but if you didn't, this is just another sad guy. This movie is already making me cry. Iced. The camera work here is not bad. Good use of urgency and tension, but all gets interrupted when you see Fat Bill and Ted's George Carlin is pulling the strings. Two robbers escape to a train. The old sad guy is angry. Not sure if anyone should be concerned. Bad Haircut 1 and 2 don't appear particularly excited about making him angry. That would be some sort of a nice catchphrase, I think. We now have the Hawk, and he hates trains, and it never stood a chance. He destroys the train with the bodies of the punks before he flees. Hulk turns back into not Hulk as he is arrested and meets Murdock. I like the exchange here. Makes it clear why Murdock took this case. He believes Fisk is behind everything. Belson is facing charges for murder. The tension is amazing. It's great dialogue. The victim of the train turns out to be plot victim again. She lies about the attack and it doesn't look good for Belson. Marta does a great job as the victim. She plays a woman who is in a bad situation, set up with a good hint she was visited by guys that coerced her story, and turned on Murdock as a victim, being treated as a criminal in the whole situation. She also immediately changes her tone when she realizes that Matt Murdock is blind. It's just a superhuman moment. She tries to control the conversation as somebody who has lost control herself as a victim and of violence from the train and from having her story coerced and being threatened by others. She really is probably the most believable person I've seen in a comic book movie ever. Fisk gives the go-ahead to kill Ellie. Before she can, clumsy Ninja Gaiden electrocutes her. Deputy Chief is upset. He blames Belson for the attempted murder. Belson doesn't seem too worried about people trying to kill him since he's the star of the film. It's very smart. The return of plot victim, as she is now taken by Fisk. David Belson heads to trial and he gets angry. Turns out the courthouse finds the situation less than optimal when he gets angry. Hulk is back. Stan Lee flees the jury stand before it's flipped. David Belson wakes up in jail and he doesn't want to be there. This makes him angry. I think you know how the jail is going to feel about this situation. Nice to see Turk thrown in. He gives Daredevil the info he needs and probably turns his life around once Daredevil says, be very good, read a book, say your prayers, eat your vitamins. Sorry, wrong Hulk. Daredevil is scanning the city and we finally get to see the world through Daredevil's eyes. Green on black 1980s computer screen. He tracks down Belson. Oh, goodness. Plot twist. Daredevil is Murdock. Plot victim is in the web. Obviously, Giant Spiders from Mars was a film, so boom, the web. So far, being a comic book movie from this era relies a lot on coincidence and things like that, because they can't make a lot of sense as these are, comic book heroes. And they had a lot of tough times with that, making the story seem real. This movie actually did a pretty good job of keeping things in order up until this point where We get a web clue. Giant Spiders from Space is a movie. They happen to take her there. It happens to be something that everybody knows about as common knowledge. I don't know. This is pretty ridiculous as far as a coincidence goes. Turk is back. Finally, a happy character. He is busy making it rain in the bar when he stumbles upon the deputy chief. Turns out Daredevil did not turn his life around. He guesses correctly that the web is a setup and that Turk leaked the web story. It's a trap. Belson heads out to rescue Daredevil. We're winging it now. This movie is what it looks like when you've done a really good job setting up A through H, and then K through Z in the script. So now we have that blank space between H and K. We went I, then T, then D, B, B again, 7, B again, and then J. Daredevil faces off with his arch enemy, Sound, and he is really outmatched. Belson is angry. The studio barn wall won't be pleased about this situation. It doesn't hold up well against green bodybuilders. Hawk tosses a few guys into some spark machines and saves Daredevil. Seriously, we are just gonna blaze to the end here. Seriously, they couldn't have less meaningless scenes in a row like this if they tried. Regroup. Kidnapped at the building. Daredevil and Belsinger at the building. Big baddie meeting. More bad news for plot victim. That was 15 minutes. What a waste. Daredevil wrecks some business individuals. Belson gets the plot victim out of the building. Daredevil clears the boardroom. Fisk escapes in his Flash Gordon vehicle cast-off. Belson and Murdoch decide their love will go on, even after they go their separate ways. Where's the Hawk, you ask? The end. Belson will later be picked up hitchhiking and has to hire Murdoch as his lawyer. After a week in court, Hawk tears down the small West New York courthouse. 7 died in the incident, including Murdoch. His funeral will be this Saturday. So, let's be clear. Bill Bixby is not a great David Banner. He just isn't. He plays like a good, depressed, tormented man with no name, a hobo, but the David Banner part it isn't there. His acting is good as it is, so you could at least believe him as a hero and for somebody that you want to cheer for, but it's just so freaking depressing. On the other side, Rex Smith is fantastic. He is a believable lawyer, which is a good introduction to this character. Maybe a bit older, but the movie doesn't revolve around any particular timeline, so I don't think it's actually clear how old he should be. John Rhys-Davies is a pretty good villain, but he's a terrible Fisk. I don't like the look at all. Dollar store sunglasses and a creepy monitor fetish. Daredevil is done pretty well. Can't say a ton about it. It's a made-for-TV movie based on the Incredible Hulk TV series. This really isn't a bad movie. Lou is as good as he can be. Very imposing with the camera effects, but they're pretty sloppy and goofy at times. Hulk is used so sparingly in a movie with his name in the title. He only appears in 3-second bursts when the plot calls for him. This really isn't about the Hulk at all. The Hulk bridges Daredevil in his own movie. It's not the other way around like it should be. This isn't a bad movie. It's an old movie. It's done as well as anything adapted from the comic books up until this point, so it's worth watching. I like the characters. The acting is better than you would expect, and the settings are pretty good. Small, but they make sense. They don't insult the viewer too much on coincidence and accidental plot convenience. Unfortunately, it just is a Daredevil movie. I enjoyed it. So the grade kind of bounces around a bit. I know I'm in the minority, but I enjoy B-flick movies like this, horror or comic. It definitely does not hold up for young viewers, and it did not age the way that people would have maybe hoped. But if you're into 80s sci-fi and horror, this is a movie you need to see. I'm giving it a strong C+. And that's all for me. What's next? Who knows? I'm Ham. Enjoy the movie and have a great day.